Just drink your beer.
Okay, you can start now.
So, just to, first of all, I apologize for last week, but I came very late and I saw that maybe it's not a good idea to have the show, but it was a very short notice, and everyone who is not on the email, so make sure that you are, so you get the mail from Mr. Foreman. The last thing we saw is that David assumed the position of a king again. He's about to cross the Jordan just to realize that actually things are not going to be so smooth. And actually the problem started with no else but the tribe of Yehuda, his own tribe. They are the troublemakers now. You would expect that, you know, Binyamin, the other Israelite tribes, they will make the problem. No, not at all. Actually, it was Shevet Yehuda that made the problem, and that we explained it last time. There was a reason for this. Your expectations are that if the king comes from your tribe, then he will be more favorable to your tribe. What David did is exactly the opposite. David is going from Hebron, which is in Yehuda, he goes to Jerusalem, which is closer to Bnei Israel. And overall, he appointed the people all over the land, not from his tribe. You know, I'm sure that, imagine something like this, that like a party is getting the job, and then the president or the prime minister invite other people to fulfill the important ministries. It's unheard, and that's what David did. David took people from all over and appointed them on different counties of Eretz Israel. So now when David come back, they already had a bad experience with him, and they are the last one to return to David. And David actually have to bribe them in a way. And let's see what he's doing. One thing, he said, let's see פסוק י"ב, והמלך דוד שלח אל צדוק ואל אביתר הכהנים לאמור, please go and talk אל זקני יהודה לאמור, למה תהיו אחרונים? They were the last one. Everyone else agreed to accept David as the renewed king in Perek Yutet, right?
The which pasuk?
פסוק י"ב.
Base, okay, thank you.
ודבר כל ישראל בא אל המלך אל ביתו. All the people, all the other tribes, they already accepted me as a king. אחי אתם, you are my brothers, עצמי ובשרי אתם. ולמה תהיו אחרונים להשיב אל המלך? You are the last one to accept me as the renewed king. Now, what was the problem? David had some issues here. For example, the people who rebelled against him. I'm sure that they were very afraid to accept David again as a king, because the moment he will be a real king, he's going to take revenge. Remember, many of them joined Avshalom. When David left, he left Jerusalem with very few people, few hundreds. What happened to all the other thousands that were left behind? They joined forces with Avshalom. And I'm sure that these people, most likely the people from Yehuda, that Avshalom, who was a great politician, promised them, yeah, I'll take care. If you have a problem, come to me, we will find a way to settle it. So they now, Avshalom lost the war, David comes back, they were sure that they are going to get hit. And you know what, they should. But David was greater than that. For David, the only mission, the only task he had was to unite Am Israel under him. And therefore he's doing few amazing things. The first one, La'amasha. Amasa was the one who joined Avshalom against David HaMelech. You would think this should be the first one to be killed, to be murdered by David when he assumed back the position of a king. He said, no. Halo atzmi ubesari ata. He was his cousin. Ko ya'aseh li Elohim v'cho yosif. He take an oath. This is a serious issue. This is a commitment. אם לא שר צבא תהיה לפניי כל הימים תחת יואב. I promise you, you are going to be my שר צבא and replacing Yoav. He was very upset with Yoav. He saw what Yoav did. He does not fulfill his commandment not to kill Avshalom. If it was right or wrong, it's a completely different story, but you know, it creates lack of trust of the king in his general. It's an issue. It's very interesting. You have to read the diaries, the last diaries of Ben Gurion about Ariel Sharon. He warned against him because Ariel Sharon was known to do whatever he thought is important. And some of the, if you remember, the Peulot Tagmul, when the special commando crossed the border and killed Bedouins and Jordanians, he did it without asking permission from the government. This was Israel 15, 20 years after it was established. It's not like today that you have like a country. It was a time. He was a Sgan Aluf. He had a rifle. He had few soldiers. Let's cross the border. And if Israel finds itself in a terrible situation worldwide, who cares? Ben Gurion will solve the problem. So Ben Gurion saw it, and in his diaries he said, be afraid of this guy. Now, sometimes there is a huge benefit of it, because Ariel Sharon maybe saved Medinat Israel in Yom Kippur War. But at the same time, you start to get nervous around people like this. They have lots of wonderful things and courage, but at the same time, a country needs some regulation, needs to be run by a government, by instructions, and not everyone can do whatever he wants. And here you have, on one hand, a person who saved the life of David, with no question. A person who was loyal 100% to his boss. But at the same time, it's dangerous. It is dangerous to have a person like this. And therefore, and maybe, David made a terrible mistake. But remember, when we read something like this, we have to put ourselves in the situation. David had one goal now, and only one goal, to unite Am Israel. He will do everything to do it. And he came to the conclusion that he has to throw Yoav under the bus, basically. Big mistake? Oh, you're going to see in a second what kind of mistake. But what I try to explain is how David thinking. He think completely different than Yoav. For Yoav, he had in mind, for him, his eyes on the ball is David. For David is actually the nation. So they come with two different philosophies, and therefore the clash in how to deal with the rebellions. So for David, he said, Kol HaMasa, the person who actually is supposed to be the first one in line after Absalom was killed, and he said, he's going to be my Sar Tzava.
But this is also the first reference now to Yoav since the...
Right.
When you say he's going to throw him under the bus, this is a hint to it.
Well, we know that, listen, David was very, very upset, with no question. Yes, Yoav convinced him that for the time, he has to actually show loyalty to his soldiers. You see, it's a mutual relationship between the soldier and their king, and the king and their soldier and his soldiers. Because otherwise, you lose leadership. You must have these common relationships in order to create the loyalty of the soldiers to the king. And that's where Yoav came in and said, what are you doing? Like, you are mourning over Absalom? He wanted to kill you. All these people almost sacrificed their life for you. And now you are upset actually with them for killing Absalom? So this is Yoav. But now David has to think about, okay, the next day, as they say. The next day is that he want to be the king, and he want to be the king of Klal Israel. So the people of Israel accepted him, the people of Judah don't. And most of the people of Judah, I assume, were the people who joined Absalom to replace David. So David has to go out of his way to find a way to make sure that they understand that he's serious. He's serious about uniting the nation. And I'm sure that they were excited to hear that Amasa is going to be the person of the army. If he bring back Amasa, then they are safe and they can join David, and to think at least that he forgave them. That's a very important and calming and appeasing message that David sent them. Was he right or wrong? Apparently he wasn't right, as we are going to see later how this developed. But he thought, and listen, everyone who comes to this position has to make very tough decisions that in hindsight we know that it was maybe a mistake. But at the time, at least we have to understand where he came from. For him, he had one priority, to unite the nation again. Vayetet levav kol ish Yehuda, and indeed we see that it worked. We see that apparently bringing back Amasa did the trick. This was the rabbit in the hat. They now understood that indeed he is not going to do anything to them. וישלחו אל המלך שוב אתה וכל עבדיך, come back. וישוב המלך, ויבוא עד הירדן, ויהודה בא גלגלה ללכת לקראת המלך. So the people of Yehuda, who were actually quite close to the Jordan, because if you think about it, the Jordan is not so far from the Gvul of Yehuda, it's about 20 kilometers actually down. They were now the first one to welcome David back to Eretz Israel. וימהר שמעי בן גרה בן הימיני אשר מבחורים, וירד עם איש יהודה לקראת המלך דוד. And not only that, the pasuk described later, he came, ואלף איש עמו מבנימין. Okay, first of all, let's see what Shimei is doing. He's from Shevet Binyamin. He's somehow related apparently to Shaul. This is the hardcore of the opposition to David. It's Beit Shaul. We are not talking about an Israelite. We're talking about someone prominent in the house of Binyamin, which is the family and the tribe of Shaul. So he crossed the Jordan, or go towards David, with 1,000 people. I'm sure that they were not like Nebuchadnezzar. They were people who could fight, people of esteem. And he meet David as he crossing the Jordan. With him, Tziva Nar Beit Shaul. Hey, remember Tziva? Tziva was the person, the CEO of the house of Shaul. He was the person that David
in charge.
Actually took the entire estate of Shaul and gave to Mephibosheth. And when he saw that Tziva came and Mephibosheth stayed behind, and he told me, oh, I'll tell you why Mephibosheth was behind. Because he expected you to lose, and then he will be recrowned as from the dynasty of Beit Shaul. Remember that what he said? And then David said, oh, really? So you know what? You take all the property to yourself, all the estate to yourself, and now he's coming also towards David. So imagine that, like we have few esteemed people from the tribe of Binyamin. Number one, Shimei ben Gera, and the other one is Tziva. This is very significant and align with the goals of David to unite the kingdom. Because what is maybe the worst part or the hardest part of Beit Israel? The house of Shaul. This was always like the opposition. And we have to remember that there is a difference between the two. Because Shimei came to David to ask forgiveness. Remember when David left Yerushalayim, he threw stones after him and cursed him. Tziva, on the other hand, he, as we remember, brought donkeys with food to David who lives in Yerushalayim. He used it in a very sophisticated and I would say manipulative way, because he used the soft moment of, or the soft heart of David at this point, a person who ran away and find like support from unexpected place, like Tziva, to give him all the estate back. So maybe he used it purposely, and maybe it was even more than that. We are going to discuss it in a few minutes. But the two people together are forming the main opposition to David, or possible opposition to David, from the house of Binyamin, the house of Shaul. ועברה העבירה להעביר את המלך, the boat, or it's not a boat, it's העבירה is a ferry, but you know, the ferry of their days. להעביר את בית המלך, so imagine this is the Jordan, the Bima, here is Machanaim, all the eastern part of the Jordan, the eastern banks of the Jordan, here is the west bank, and as the ferry comes to carry David and his family from here to here, ושימי בן גרה נפל לפני המלך בעוברו בירדן. As the king crossed the Jordan, שימי בן גרה is bowing down to דוד המלך, ויאמר אל המלך, אל יחשוב לי אדוני עוון, ואל תזכור את אשר האבה עבדיך ביום אשר יצא אדוני המלך מירושלים לשום המלך אל ליבו. You see how he talks to him now, המלך, המלך, המלך. Remember how he treated him when he left Jerusalem, but he was a great politician, I guess.
When we finished, your last one that I remember, this is
Yeah.
what you said. So this is what he did because he was still on the other side.
Right.
And then before he
So you
came
listened
over,
to me
and
very
then
good.
and then he told his son Shlomo
Right,
to
right,
take
right.
care of him.
Right.
And then it took 3.5 years, and he took care of him.
Yeah, נכון.
Yeah, Simon was in the class.
Okay? So, כי ידע עבדך כי אני חטאתי, והנה באתי היום ראשון לכל בית יוסף. You see what he said? He doesn't say, I'm first one from Binyamin. It's all בית יוסף. בית יוסף means like, who was like the leaders? Ephraim, Menashe, Binyamin. This was actually Shomron, the political strengths of all the Shvatim of Yosef, especially Ephraim. So he sent the message. You see, it's not only about like, forgive me. It's like in a very sophisticated way. He said, and you should, because it's going to pay off. Because I am the leader of Beit Yosef. לרדת לקראת אדוני המלך, and you're right, as I said before, why it was so important for him to run and to do it as David crossed the Jordan, because the Jordan is much more than just a river here. The Jordan is the separation between being a king or not. You are a king as long as you are in your country. Once you are not in your country, you are not the king. The moment David would cross the Jordan and become again the king in his place, he cannot forgive Shimei anymore. A king is not allowed to give up his kavod. That's the halacha. The halacha is, father, he can say, to his son, you want to treat me this way, okay, I'm okay with it. A rabbi, yes. I don't know any rabbi who will do it, but but he's allowed. When it comes to the king, there is a special halacha. The special halacha of a king is Som tasim alecha melech. You have to have fear of your king. The king is not allowed to give up his kavod. It's a kavod of Klal Israel. When he's on the other side, he's not the king. And it's interesting that until this very day, by the way, in the United Kingdom, this is a law. You cannot, and it's similar a little bit to the United States, if you were not born in the country, you cannot be the king, become the king or the president. Why? Why is it so? Because to be American, or especially to belong to the royal family, you have to be like a citizen of the land. And if you weren't, then it's not going to work. By the way, it's an interesting story, if I might tell you. Rabbi Sachs is the chief rabbi of England, right? He was, and now Rabbi Miris. How this position was created, it's very strange. What is the chief rabbi of the Commonwealth? Well, what does that mean? So here is the story. It's a very interesting story. I think it was Queen Victoria who, when she was young, she went to visit Germany or Denmark, I can't remember, one of these related, and while she was there, she was pregnant, and apparently she was in the 7th month and she needed to give birth. Now she knew if the baby is going to be born not on the English soil, he will not be able. This was her first baby. That's maybe she didn't know that she might give birth earlier, and she didn't know what to do. She wanted this baby to become a king of England after her. They didn't know what to do. The legend said that they went to Rav Natan Adler, who was the rabbi of London at the time, and he said, well, do you have the sheep, the royal sheep around? And give birth on the royal sheep. Because this considered to be an English soil. And that's exactly what she did. What? Yeah, and that's what she did. And when she came back, they said, yeah, it was actually a great legal advice. He was born on a British soil. And as a respect to Rabbi Adler, who was at the time the rabbi of Hamburg, Germany, she appointed him to be the chief rabbi of England, the Commonwealth. And that's how the job is. I didn't check the facts on Wikipedia or something like this, but that's a story I heard, and it's a beautiful story. And the most beautiful stories are not true, but anyway. But the idea, you see, the idea of like, on your land you are a king. Even if you missed, especially when you were born, you are not on the land, you miss something very essential to being a king. So that's why he ran before he crossed the Jordan, as he can still forgive him as, I would say, a private person, and only when he crossed the Jordan, okay, he already told him that he's forgiven, and it's okay. ויען אבישע בן צרויה ויאמר, התחת זאת לא יומת שמי? Are you kidding me? You come now to ask, you think that we forgot what you did? כי קילל את משיח השם? Now, I guess, let's try to see. Do you think it was like in a chamber, like quietly? I'm sure Shimi comes with 1,000 people. David is crossing the Jordan. I'm sure that many people are around David. And I just imagine, we cannot have the recording, the YouTube from the event, but I'm sure that Abishai ben Tzuya is just the voice, the loudest voice, and maybe the most important voice at the time, to scream, this is impossible, you must kill him. And David now and I'm sure he was not the only one, everyone started, kill him. And David is like, in his first test, what to do now? His people are telling him, you should kill him, which makes lots of sense, because as I told you, at the end, he commanded Shlomo to find a way to kill him, right? So it's not that he forgave him, but as I said, you have to remember what was like the ball that his eyes were fixed on. He wanted unity, no matter what the price is going to be. That's what he has to achieve. Vayomer David, and he showed now leadership. It's so like going the other way now. Mali velachem bnei Tzuya. I already had it from Yoav. Now you, Abishai, are telling me that I have to kill him. Lo yumat kitiuli lesatan hayom. Yumat ish beIsrael. You think that on this day, when I assume back the position of the king, anyone is going to be killed? Ki alo yadati ki hayom ani melech al Israel. I don't want my first day to be a day of blood and war. I want the first day to be recognized as a day of unity and a peaceful day. Vayomer HaMelech el Shimi lo tamut. You are not going to die. And I can still hear the people who say, what are you doing? You must kill him. Vayishava lo HaMelech. Because it said in the Pasuk, Vayomer lo HaMelech, so why isn't it enough? He had to take an oath. Because I'm sure that many people say there that you have to kill him. Maybe Shimei and Tziva did not know what to do, how it's going to end. The king needed their support at this time, and he took an oath that nothing is going to happen to them. ומפיבושת בן שאול ירד לקראת המלך. Now, the person who stands behind, the person who actually is the heir of the house of Shaul. Right? ירד לקראת המלך, ולא עשה רגליו. He was there. ולא עשה שפמו, he did not shave himself. This was the minhag at the time of people who are mourning over someone. ואת בגדיו לא כיבס. Well, I guess it was quite the smell. Okay, but this is how mourners are behaving. They cannot do laundry, they don't shave. למין היום לכת המלך עד היום אשר בא בשלום. This was for few months since David left Jerusalem until this very day he was in a state of mourning. ויהי כי בא ירושלים לקראת המלך. ויאמר לו המלך, למה לא הלכת עמי מפיבושת? Why didn't you come with me? ויאמר אדוני המלך עבדי רימני, my slave ציווה. He cheated me, he fooled me. כי אמר עבדך, I said, אכבשה לי החמור, I saddle on the donkey, וארכב עליה ואלך אל המלך, כי פיסח עבדך, you know that I cannot walk. So as I prepare my donkey, the guy just disappeared. וירגל בעבדך, and he slandered your servant. ואדוני המלך כמלאך האלוקים, and I refer to you as like an angel of God. ועשה הטוב בעיניך, you can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I stay behind and did not join you, not because I didn't want, I couldn't. And look how do I look like? And I will never imagine to do something that ציווה told you. כי לא היה עם כל בית אבי כי עם אנשי מוות לאדוני המלך. The truth is that I expected you to kill everyone in the house of Shaul. And you, ותשת את עבדיך באוכלי שולחניך, you put me on payroll. Like you brought me to your house and you made a commitment that I will be one of the people that you feed them. ומה יש לי עוד צדקה ולזעוק עוד אל המלך? So, listen, I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm telling you I was 100% loyal to you. ויאמר לו המלך, למה תדבר עוד? Stop. אמרתי, אתה וציווה תחלקו את השדה. You and ציווה. Okay, I hear you. Split. יחלוקו. ויאמר מפיבושת אל המלך, גם את הכל ייקח. Honestly, like he can take everything. I don't mind. Because אחרי אשר בא אדוני המלך בשלום אל ביתו. To me, the only thing which is important is that you came back safe home.
Did he mean that? Or is he just talking?
So that's my
hard to
question.
believe, right?
That's my question. The question, it's a very interesting question. So what happened here? Was Mephibosheth sincere? Number two, how David indeed, like, okay, yachloku. Well, wait a second. You just realized that Ziba is such a scammer. Like, he lied to the king. So why yachloku? Well, you might say, you know what, it's not the time to start fights, because if you will say to Ziba, you know what, you are such a liar. Well, Ziba just came, and he also and by the way, Ziba was also smart. I think that Mephibosheth was right. And Ziba came immediately because he knew that very soon
It's good to know.
David is going to realize what happened. So he, like Shimi ben Gera, want to get the royal pardon before it's too late. But what happened to David here? And I have to tell you something. Chazal are criticizing David on this move unbelievably. Chazal describe it in their beauty of language. They say, באותה שעה שאמר דוד, תחלקו, אתה וציבה תחלקו את השדה, יצתה בת קול, an echo, a heavenly echo came from heaven and said, oh, at this moment, I'm telling you, one day, Rechavam, your grandson, and Yerovam will split the kingdom. And think about the beauty of it, because when Rechavam, the son of Shlomo, actually tore the kingdom to two by Yerovam, it was again a king or someone, a descendant of a king, and a slave. Yerovam was a slave or servant in a high position in the house of Yosef. And he rebelled against Rechavam, And since then, the terrible tragedy that actually happened until this very day. The 10 tribes eventually disappeared. Only Yehuda and Binyamin are left. And it all happened according to Chazal because this moment, that David made a terrible mistake by saying Yachloku.
Yachloku, what do you mean exactly?
Yachloku means divide it. He said, okay, half to you, half to you.
Oh, divide whatever he took by whatever.
And indeed, that's a big question. So David was, why David did so? Like, okay, fine. One explanation is, you know what, it's not time to argue too much. You know what, you get half, be quiet. He's getting half, he's not going to rebel and to arrange people against me. Okay, I have no time now to decide over it. But you know what, David excelled in Mishpat Vatzedek. And you know, when I read it, I remembered something very, very interesting. How his son reacted. And don't you see here the famous story of the baby, like cut the baby to two? What happened? Shlomo did something very, very smart. He said, okay, let's cut it. And this was a test. Because the right mother said, no, give her everything. Isn't it exactly the same here? What Siva is doing? Give him everything. Mephibosheth. To me, the important thing is that you are alive. Exactly like the mother who said, to me, the important thing is that the baby is alive. And you see the difference between Shlomo and his father. Shlomo excelled in the Mishpat Tzedek, and David failed it. It happens sometimes that your son might be a better lawyer or a judge than you, and that's what happened. And we know that Shlomo asked Hashem to give him wisdom. It's not so simple. Sometimes you succumb to your own agendas and ego. But it's, to me, when I read it, like Tachloku, and like actually Tziva, like the mother, he said, Mephibosheth said, give it to him. I don't care. At this moment, David should stop and say, I understand what happened here. You will get everything. Right? But he didn't. He didn't.
It sounds like the Chachamim were pretty hard on David on this point, right? Because it's not like a he said, she said kind of thing. You don't really know what happened. They're probably different opinions. You know, it's probably a little hard to figure out exactly what happened and how it was interpreted. So it's like a pshara that they divided in half. Like, I don't find it such a bad answer, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even find it very bad because he didn't try and find out the truth. Maybe.
You might be right. I think David, actually, it might well be that at this moment, he's not sure who is right and who is wrong. He's not sure about Mephibosheth. He's not sure.
But even if he was sure, this may not be the right time. You said what he's trying to do is bring everybody together. No,
Right.
now's not the time
Then-
to
That's,
start a
that's what
fight.
my
But then
suggestion.
he should have said, he shouldn't have said Tachloku, he should have said.
Let's wait, let's wait, let's-
Not today, let's
Yeah.
deal with it one other time. He shouldn't
But,
have
and
just
you know what,
decided.
more than that, I must say, more than that, see how David is talking to him. He did not say, oh, I hear you, you know what, let's divide the field. What does he say to him? It's so like rude. ויאמר לו המלך, למה תדבר עוד? Basically, I don't want to say it in shul, like, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I don't want to hear you anymore. You take half, he takes half, I don't want to hear about it anymore. What a reaction is this one? The reaction. Don't think about like, okay, the judgment. You know, a judge can give you like, okay, sometimes it's not, but you know, with some respect. Hey, you're wrong, but you know, to still respect you as a person. To tell a person, I don't want to hear you, it's rude. And it's like something, I don't know, something bitter about it.
Well, he had more on his plate. He knew that there was more to come and he wanted to get this out of the way.
Maybe, but you see, David is always like gentle and like nice, and he wrote the Tehillim. I don't know, it's very, very harsh language.
He forgot that he had to get his forgiveness then. He couldn't wait till he came back, he was the Melech, and he would say, like it's the same as Shimi, you know, he had to get that forgiveness. And Mephibosheth had to get the forgiveness.
So-
David forgot that somehow.
To me, honestly, if I'm a psychologist and I have to analyze the reaction of David, he's upset with something. I don't know what it is, but something is upsetting.
Well, the whole thing's a very big crisis, you don't think so straight. And anyway, didn't David get all the property back from Mephibosheth from Ziba?
No, he split it now. Something that
before.
was
Before.
completely.
He
Ah,
gave
yes,
everything
yes,
to
yes.
Siva.
Previously.
Yeah, so
He
now,
threw him out.
now it just, you know what, I would say like this, if I would be the king and hear that Siba scammed me, I would say, you know what, you get back your property and everything that Siba has in the bank is confiscated, is going
But
to
in
you.
essence, that's what he did before.
What?
In
No,
essence,
before he
that-
gave him only like the property that he owned. But I would now be so upset with Tziva, who took actually, like, this is a slander. This is something really like awful. He used the fact that Mephibosheth was crippled and unable to come, used it against him. This is the most disgusting thing. Unless David really had a reason to think that maybe Tziva is not so wrong. And I'll tell you why. Mephibosheth, at the end of the day, was a son of Jonathan. And we highlighted it a few times that Jonathan, when he had to decide between David and his father, at the end of the day, he decided for his father. It was something in the house of Binyamin of showing loyalty to Binyamin, to the family. And again, it might be completely wild, but I feel that David was bitter about it. He expected Jonathan to behave differently, and here he saw the same thing. It made sense in a way that Mephibosheth still have it within him, the same as his father. Yes, he promised his father, but now it was a time of crisis. Maybe he expected him to send some, I don't know what he expected, but there is a kind of bitterness against Mephibosheth. This is one explanation. I'm not a great fan of psychological explanation, but it's possible. But I'll tell you, you know what? Can you bring me any, not a proof, but something that talked to you that maybe David was a little bit suspicious of Mephibosheth about the whole thing, like if he's indeed sincere that David left Yerushalayim and so on. This is also psychological. Teachers know it very well, and we all know it in a way, but teachers are facing it every day, so it's easy for me to sympathize with David. I'll tell you what, and I think it's embedded in the response of David. What David is saying, I don't want to hear you anymore. The greatest liars of your students are talking a lot. When they try to say something, like to convince you that they are not lying to you, they will say a lot of things. This is a first sign that they are lying to you. Because the truth is very simple. 2-3 words and it's enough. Just to say, listen, the whole thing is like, it was a lie. See how Mephibosheth is talking and talking and talking, and you are so important in my eyes, and I did not eat, and I did not do that, and So David said, you know what, you talk too much, I don't like it. But you might be right, so you know what? Yachloku.
Yeah, but the other side of the coin, the other psychological side of the coin is Mephibosheth always felt inferior. He was very self-conscious. He didn't have a lot of self-confidence. His self-esteem was down because he was Nechei Raglayim, and he was not in the same position as everybody else. He wasn't as strong and as a gibor. So he is intimidated by David HaMelech.
Again, and you know what? Chazal criticized enormously David for this. So he apparently, at least according to the reading of Chachamim, he was wrong by doing so, right? So I'm not trying to say that I'm smarter than Chachamim, but I'm telling you, even when Chachamim say that David is wrong, we still have to understand it's David HaMelech. What did he think about it? And like how it come to a situation like this, that he talks so rudely towards him. And I'm telling you, I think about myself sometimes like, okay, I heard enough, okay, I don't want to hear anymore. And it's actually happened when they try to convince you how true they are, like they don't try to
But it's
like
interesting,
you.
if David had some bitterness because Mephibosheth was Jonathan's son, then you would think that he would have realized that he's talking so much because he felt, he knew who he is, Mephibosheth. It wasn't just as some person who had done what he did. He was Jonathan's son, and knowing that he was Shaul's grandson, or whatever,
Yeah.
he knew that he had to, he felt that he had to talk more because he's starting from a very low position, lower than someone else would have, more.
You would be a good lawyer for Mephibosheth, but you see, David has to decide upon like, okay, maybe he's just let me cross the Jordan, stop like nudging me, and you want half the field? Okay, I have the field, that's it. Like,
He didn't say shut up.
that's basically what he said.
He didn't say
You say that,
tishtok.
I didn't say that.
Lo amar tishtok.
Okay.
He used the word lama, so he's kind of a little softer.
But he said, lama tedaber od dvarecha, like, why are you talking too much? That's what he said.
I've
that's-
heard a lot worse.
Yeah, okay, listen, he had a royal language, but he said basically, you know, if he would be, let's say, David at the time of a shepherd, now listen, he wrote Tehillim, he should talk like on a higher language. But basically, he said, "Lama tedaber od?" I don't want to hear you anymore. That's, you know, in our words, it doesn't sound great, but basically it's the same idea. I don't want to hear you. Take the field and that's it, leave me. The next person who comes to actually accompany David is one of the people who go from Machanaim towards, not towards, with David before he crosses the Jordan. וברזילי זקן מאוד, בן 80 שנה, והוא חלקל את המלך בשיבתו במחניים. He was the person that took care financially and in terms of food and, you know, hosting him. And apparently all the people around him. כי איש גדול הוא מאוד. By the way, it's the same description, if you remember, about Naval. גדול הוא מאוד. He was like a very wealthy person. And wealthy people, sometimes they are very generous, like Barzillai, and sometimes they can be exactly the opposite. ויאמר ברזילי אל המלך, כמה ימי שני חיי, כי אעלה את המלך ירושלים. Please, I decline the honor. I don't want to come with you. I'm sorry, I skipped one line. ויאמר המלך אל ברזילי, אתה עבור איתי, וחלקלתי אותך עמדי בירושלים. Come with me. I want you next to me. You're a person that I can trust. And don't worry about all your businesses. I'm going to take care of you, and there will be like your children, other people who will handle your property. ויאמר ברזילי אל המלך, כמה ימי שני חיי? כי אעלה את המלך ירושלים. It's too late. It's too late. I'm too old for this. בן 80 שנה אנוכי היום. העדה בין טוב לרע. I don't know anymore between like good and bad. אם איתם עבדך את אשר אוכל ואת אשר אשתה. So honestly, like in this age, I cannot even taste if it's a good food or bad food. אם אשמע עוד בקול שרים ושרות. I'm not going even to enjoy the entertainment of the royal palace. You know, it's like in the White House, they bring all kind, once a week I think they have, they bring the bands and entertainers. I say that it's too late for me. ולמה יהיה עבדך עוד למסע אל אדוני המלך? Why should I come with you and to be with you like I'm just going to be a burden? כמעט יעבור עבדך את הירדן. Let me just cross a little bit to show you the honor and the respect that I have to you. ולמה יגמלני המלך הגמולה הזאת? And why do you have to give me this like reward? You don't need me there. ישב נא עבדך ואמות בעירי. Let me just go back to my city. I'm going to die there. עם קבר אבי ואמי. You know, it's my father and mother are there. I don't want to come to Yerushalayim. I want to stay behind. והנה עבדך כמהם. My son כמהם, this was his name. We will talk about this name. יעבור עם אדוני המלך. ועשה לו את אשר טוב בעיניך. Whatever you want to give me and to reward me, give it to my son. It was nice actually, because many times we want to make sure that our children like Okay, the benefit that we don't have, they will get. ויעבור, okay. Yeah. ויאמר המלך איתי יעבור כמעם, absolutely, I want him with me. ואני אעשה לו את הטוב בעיניך. Tell me what do you want me, how to treat him, what position maybe you want for him. פרוטקציה. וכל אשר תבחר עליי אעשה לך. Everything that you will tell me, I feel such gratitude towards you. You don't want to get it, I'll give it to him.
Why suddenly is this person, Barzillai, suddenly appearing at this stage? And an important...
That's a very good question. It's such a good question that I wanted to raise it. But you helped it. Okay, that's fine. You know, there is a halacha that if a person can do a mitzvah, a shchita, for example, and someone else comes and he takes the knife and he's doing the shchita or the bris. You know, the mohel is waiting there, a guy coming, he do the milah. The halacha is that he has to pay 10 zeuvim, like 10 coins of golden coins, because he stole the mitzvah from him. So I don't know how much you have to pay me for stealing the question, the good question, you know. We will put it on 2 golden coins.
Okay.
I'll give you a reduction.
Thank you. It's because my husband's over 80, you see.
Okay. First of all, Chazal, it's very interesting. What do you think is what's going on here? Like between Barzillai and David. What's the
Coming
story
out of the
here?
woodwork. Everyone's coming out to butter him up. They've got this new king coming back. I don't know what he's going to do, but at least get me in. So maybe just the first of many.
Well, Barzillai, listen, he proved his loyalty to the king all the time that he was in Machanaim. He helped the king, he hosted him. Today we will not have time to develop it, but you know, when we are, maybe next week, we are going to see what was so special about the story about Barzillai. It's actually one word in Divrei Yamim that will open us a gate to understand the story with Barzillai, and I would never even come close to it, but I asked your question, I like myself, and I found a beautiful article again of Rabbi Meidan. Bechlal, if you really want to enjoy Tanakh, his articles are just eye-openers, even for people who knows Tanakh. And like, he found one pasuk in Divrei Yamim that seems to shed a very interesting light on the story of Barzillai. But let's keep it for next week. It's actually quite an interesting story. But you know, Chazal actually say that Barzillai was not such a good person. On one hand, David had gratitude towards him. He helped him enormously. But Chachamim said he was a dubious personality, let's put it this way. He was not such a great person. And Chazal actually uses a quite strong expression that it doesn't make a difference now. And Chazal read these psukim very, very carefully, especially the first pasuk of Lamed Vav that we spoke. Ben 80 שנה אנוכי היום, העדה בין טוב לרע. Now, the first reason he said, I'm not going to be benefited by coming with you. I'm too old for all this. Now, why do you think David wanted him in Yerushalayim next to him? He was a good person. Someone he was a confidant. He was a person that he could trust on his advice. He showed loyalty. What was Eli thinking about? Food and entertainment. Like, he did not invite him to the house of David for the food or to Sharim Vesharot. And you would expect, you know, I'm a little bit farkalech, I cannot really think about all kind of things. You are not going to get any benefit from having like a person like me around you. Take a younger person, you know, I'm not okay already. What what does he say? You know, I cannot really, I lost my appetite. I cannot really taste the food. Imagine that, you know, you are invited to the Prime Minister or to Mr. Trump, whatever it is, like, you say, you know what, I don't think I'm going to enjoy the meal. Like, what? I want you there, like, to show you recognition, to show how I reward the great people. And you talk to me, I lost my earring. I'm not going to enjoy the sharim v'sharot. What? Did I invite you for the entertainment? Yeah, of course. If you are in the royal palace, you have entertainment too. But I don't invite you for this. And Chazal criticized Barzillai in a very harsh way for treating the king this way, to the point where they start to raise some questions. Who was this Barzillai? What did he think? And why he hosted David all this time? So maybe we will open it a little bit more, but you see how they read the text in a great sensitivity. This was wrong on the side of Barzillai, and therefore, from what we read on a shallow way, how great he was. And by the way, he was great because David, as he commanded Shlomo to get rid of Shimei, he told him, I want Bnei Barzillai Giladi to be always on your table. Make sure that forever they are going to enjoy royal treatment. So David knew that he was a very generous person who helped him in a time of need. But at the same time, reading this psukim raised some questions about his personality.
Yeah, well, that's good.
What is Kimham? Very interesting name. The Mefarshim try to understand it. And actually we find this word twice in Tehillim. Kama lecha nafshi. Chaf mem hei is a strong yearning. Kimham is like a person of great yearning. But here the question, yearning for what? One person is yearning for more Torah, for more Yirat Shamayim, for more spirituality. One person had a yearning to sharim v'sharot, to the good food, to gourmet. So we don't know, but apparently Kimham was a person that was more spiritual than his father. And it might be that actually Barzillai did not want to be around David HaMelech. He knew that David is a very spiritual person on one hand. He might be limited in the ways he's going to conduct his life, which apparently was quite hedonistic from what we can see here. So he said, you know what? As they say today in Eretz Israel, there is Yerushalayim and there is Tel Aviv. Let me stay in Tel Aviv. You know, I don't want any business with Yerushalayim. Like, I want to be in Tel Aviv. They call it Tel Aviv, Ir Lelo Hafsaka. It's where like you have the entertainment, you have everything that you want. Listen,
Okay.
that's how it works.
So this
Some
is-
people like to be like in Manhattan they can go to Broadway, to the restaurants. Here, they're sharim v'sharot and ochel tov v'ra. And, you
Isn't
know,
there an expression now, it's a terrible thing, the kids like that are turning away from Frumkeit in Israel, they say they want to, there's an expression for it, they want to enjoy life or something. They
yeah,
have an
something,
expression.
that's,
If you say that a person, you don't say the person is not from, you say, if you want to make it a shidduch, they say that this person, this boy, he likes life or something, that means that he's
Aha.
not keeping
like Barzillai.
I can't
Maybe
remember
they
the
should call him like
expression.
Mibnei Barzillai.
Somebody told me
Like a
lives
new
there, so
term
that's
in
the
Shidduchim.
expression.
It's getting crazier and crazier. So here is my contribution. Maybe they should call these guys Bnei Barzillai Giladi. And the people who understand it will understand it. We will meet again next week, B'ezrat Hashem.
Next Monday night, even though it's a
Very
holiday,
good.
and then the following week, we're having the seal.
It's a holiday.
Post it.
Thank you very, very much.